Game 5, Milwaukee Bucks at the Boston Celtics. The Celtics take the series back home. The Milwaukee Bucks end up winning by the final score of 110 to 107. This game came down to the wire. And to be honest, I wasn't even confident that the Milwaukee Bucks were going to end up coming back. And like the last two games, game 4, the Boston Celtics ended up edging out the win when they was down going into the fourth quarter. And in game 5, tonight's game, the Milwaukee Bucks were down in the fourth quarter, was able to come back and win the game. It's it was crazy. Like the fourth quarter 3-point shot making was amazing. I believe they only missed one fourth quarter three for the Milwaukee Bucks. Wesley Matthews knocked down some key shots. Giannis definitely had some key shots. Of course, Drew Holiday, who probably is going to be player of the game, even though Giannis scored 40 points, is they're definitely my player of the game. Had two key defensive plays in the fourth quarter for Milwaukee Bucks to help them secure that win. Obviously, the block on Marcus Smart was number one. It was a grip block. Excuse me, where literally he was going up on Grayson Allen, and Drew Holiday sneaks up behind him and blocks a shot. And then obviously the last play of the game, when they inbounded the ball, Boston Celtics inbounded the ball, and Drew Holiday was able to strip him. But I'm more shocked about Drew Holiday as far as his contribution on offense. He was able to put up 24 points, 8 assists, and he was aggressive with the basketball. Like he shot 4 for 7 from the 3-point line. Like Drew Holiday is really stepping up without having Chris Middleton in the lineup as that second guy that Giannis can lean on for the Milwaukee Bucks. Wesley Matthews too as well. Like I said, he was 3 for 6 from the 3-point line. Had two key 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. That was huge. Pat Connaughton too as well knocked down some threes. Bobby Portis, like how could I forget about Bobby Portis? Even though he did do some head scratching things, he brought some excellent energy on defensive and offensive boards. Where I believe he gave the Milwaukee Bucks 5 second chance, second chance opportunities on the offensive side of the ball, and in the game with 15 rebounds. Um, I was getting a little frustrated with him because of the fact that he was every time he would try to put the ball back up, he would end up getting blocked. But he definitely gave the Milwaukee Bucks a spark as far as his his contribution on the boards. Now Giannis again, Giannis in the fourth quarter knocked down a key three that I believe tied the ball game up, if I'm not mistaken. And I know we end up having the conversation all the time about Giannis and taking threes, but that 3-pointer was pivotal in this game. I wish somebody else took it, but I'm just happy he knocked it down. Side of his eye bleeding and everything, able to knock that down. I was it almost cost the Milwaukee Bucks the game now when he ended up having to go to the line and had the opportunity to tie the ball game up. He ended up missing one of the two free throws, ended up costing him a point. But Bobby Portis, like we talked about earlier, was able to provide that energy play, give the Milwaukee Bucks another opportunity for them to put the ball in the hoop. Now, again, back to Giannis. End up with 40 points. At this point in this series, it's almost I feel like he's settled in this series as far as how he's going to be able to attack the Celtics at the basket. Like you try to put Al Horford on him, doesn't work. Try to put Tice on him, doesn't work. Then you try to put excuse me, Williams on him, Grant Williams on him. It doesn't work, even though they brag so much about how Grant Williams probably gives the Boston Celtics the best opportunity. Excuse me, gives the Giannis the best matchup. Excuse me, I don't even know what word I wanted to use for that, but he's still able to get what he wanted. Ended the game with 40 points. I would like Giannis to be able to distribute the basketball a little bit more. I feel like they have a better chance of winning when he ends up getting everybody else involved on the team. Like again, I'm still pounding the table for Brook Lopez. Like we got to get Brook Lopez involved. Like there's too many opportunities for Brook Lopez, and there's too many times I've seen Garrett Allen or Pat Connaughton drive to the basket, and I see Brook Lopez on a mismatch, and they don't dump it off to Brook Lopez. Like I'm pounding the table. This again, game 5. Get Brook Lopez involved in the offense. Now, as far like this game for the Milwaukee Bucks, they started off very very slow. I believe they ended up the first quarter with 5 turnovers. That like I don't know if we want to give that as a credit to the Boston Celtics or is it to the Milwaukee Bucks just carelessness. But as we progress through this series, as we like we're probably gonna be I'm confident that the Milwaukee Bucks can end up finishing this thing off in 6 games. But as we come down to these last couple of games, if a game 7 is needed, Milwaukee's gonna have to take care of the basketball. They can't go into can't start this game off slow, turn the basketball over, especially Giannis. Like you got it. Like when you're driving to the basket and they're just overly trying to commit to stop Giannis, you're gonna have to dump this basketball to somebody else because that's where the turnovers come from. They're able to get a strip on Giannis, and then Giannis uh, gives the Boston Celtics easy transition buckets, and that's the Boston Celtics strength able to get the ball in transition and to be able to score on easy buckets. Now, for the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum is back to his old self. Even though he had like a drought 2 games ago in game 3, where he ended up scoring like 9 points, and then two nights ago for game 4, he ended up putting up over 30 points, and then tonight again over 30 points with ending the game with 34 points. Um, that's what a star's supposed to do. Like he can't. There can't be any more nights off, especially in this series where it's do or die right now. Where we go into game 6, like he's going to have to continue to put up that level of production if they want to come out in this series and win this series. And Al Horford, and a very very quiet night for Al Horford. Not as ecstatic as it was 2 nights ago in game 5. Excuse me, in game 4 where he ended up putting up 30 points. Like quiet night, like I said, 8 points, 8 rebounds. End up having a key putback dunk in the fourth quarter, which I thought that was probably the dagger for the Milwaukee Bucks, but it showed the resilience for the Milwaukee Bucks in the game for them to be able to still come out and edge out the win. Jaylen Brown in the third quarter, I believe he scored like 16 points in the third quarter, where he was literally carrying the Boston Celtics, and it just disappeared in the fourth. So Grant Williams again, I was expecting him to be involved in as far as guarding Giannis a little bit more, considering the fact that they was without Robert Williams again in this game. But it just like just them the Milwaukee Bucks switching certain defenders to go guard Giannis, but predominantly Al Horford. Giannis was able to have his way. Now, game 6 is I strongly believe the Milwaukee Bucks are going to end up closing it out in 6 games. I really do. Because of the fact, like you again, we still haven't taken advantage of the Brook Lopez matchup. Giannis at this point is showing that he's clearly unstoppable with anybody that you decide you want to put on Giannis on defense. So it all just comes down to everybody else on the Milwaukee Bucks. Are you going to step up and hit your shots? And I think I trust them. I think I trust the Milwaukee Bucks more than I trust the Boston Celtics because again, I'm not the biggest fan of how the Boston Celtics are able to put up buckets when they're not in transition. It's a lot of ISO ball between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and now we have Marcus Smart getting himself involved in the offense where he is able to bully his way inside the paint and be able to hit that hook shot. But it's too much relied upon Jason Tatum, and I feel like their fate, the Boston Celtics' fate, is decided with how Jason Tatum comes out and plays the game. And if he does not come out and drop at least 30 points, I don't see them winning the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Milwaukee Bucks taking it versus I was gonna say Dallas, Boston in Game 6, and they're going to send Boston.
Nah for the Bay. Nah for the Bay. We don't care what you said. Nah for the Bay. Nah for the Bay. Nah for the Bay. We ain't hearing what you said. Nah for the Bay. Fire!